start out with the cliffhanger. Oh yeah.
They call this Elmerville.
Elmerville.
Yeah, there was a family called the Elmers that lived there in about 1900. And settlers started coming out here around 1880. So this is where some poor people lived, way out of the way.
Okay.
And they were like hillbillies. When you see pictures of them, it's like, oh my God, they look like they came straight out of Appalachia.
Yeah.
There's like 14 kids in the picture.
Yeah.
One has, you know,
even less
half
teeth.
of them have, you know, one leg shorter than the other. One has 3 eyes. Another has 6 fingers.
Yeah.
And now it's like this cool community that's kind of out the way. One of my managers lives over here.
So you were talking about the drops. Do Hummers have like longer wheelbases, so the drops are like
Well,
not as
the
scary?
tires are bigger.
Okay.
And they're very stiff and they're wide. And they can you can go on angles on a Hummer you can't do with a Jeep. You can go like on double the angle.
Yeah.
So like a Jeep is going to do about 35 degrees. And then you have a chance of tipping it over past that. On a Hummer, it's like 60, 65.
Because they have a lower center of gravity.
Yeah.
Or something.
And they got that wide wheelbase.
Yeah.
They're designed that way for the military, you know, and they're military Hummers that we have. So yeah, when the Hummers come through here, they build the track, and so the Jeeps don't quite fit on the track. So yeah, it tends to be a rugged tour.
Yeah.
You just take it slow, you know, not do any crazy driving. Now there are predators out here because my manager sees them. So there's a lot of bobcats in this area.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of cougars. So we have a lot of mountain lions out here.
Very cool.
It's very rare to see them. I haven't seen a mountain lion. I've lived here for 13 years. I've not seen one in a while. They're very elusive. And the good thing about this, up here in Sedona, is they have a lot of game and wildlife to hunt. So they don't want to know about us.
Right.
So we rarely see them, But they are out here.
Yeah, I've seen bobcats, black bears, grizzly bears, like in Yellowstone and Teton and all that kind of stuff, but I've never once seen a mountain lion.
Yeah, they're elusive. They don't want to be seen, they won't be seen. Typically they hang out in like cliffy areas.
Yeah.
The top of in this area, more about the living on the top of these hillsides and stuff,
Yeah.
so they can watch the game below. And then we have a million coyotes. You see them out here as well. The wolves have been making a comeback in Arizona, which is nice. But I haven't seen any in a long time.
Yeah, I read this article about this guy in Colorado like 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Got attacked by a mountain lion, and then he strangled it and killed it.
Yeah,
So
I
he
mean,
didn't get it.
and you got to realize, you're a lot bigger than a cat, than a cougar.
Yeah, but you're still
Right.
gonna get messed up.
Oh yeah.
Clawing you the whole time.
Well, yeah, they can. If you're grabbing them, they have their back feet and their front feet, and they will scratch the crap out of you. Yeah.
I
And
guess
they can
it's
cut you
better
right
to die.
open. Yeah. So yeah, they're a gnarly animal. They have the strongest legs of any cat in the animal kingdom.
Huh.
So they can leap 40 feet.
Wow.
And I've seen them do it on YouTube. It's unbelievable, But yeah, they're pretty incredible animals. And they're very instinctual. So it's all about turning your back to them. You never turn your back to a cougar.
Oh, the rib cage.
Yeah, look at that.
It's like a
Wow.
It's probably
deer or something.
probably a deer rib cage. That's new. I haven't seen that.
That's separated from the rest of the body.
Yeah,
Is that some more over there to the left by that tree?
that looks like it, man.
And there's some to the back even more.
This wasn't here the other day. We just did this trail the other day. Nobody saw this.
Well, I guess there's
Nice.
an answer. They're mountain lions here.
Yeah, they're all mountain ones. But that looks like probably the size of a deer,
Yeah.
you know. Trippy. Good eye,
Cool.
man. I didn't notice it. Yeah, it's spread out all over the place. Coyotes could have done that too, because coyotes will leave bones
Okay.
everywhere. Because the different members in the pack, they'll grab food and run this way, run that way. Good chance it's a coyote, actually. It's a red pack of coyotes. And you see how stripped the
Yeah.
bones are? That's stuff that coyotes do.
Scrappy.
Yeah, they'll leave stuff everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was a kid, there were not coyotes all over the United States.
Really.
Yeah, no way. When I was growing up in New York, my grandparents had a farm in the Catskills, and when I was 10, I ran into a timber wolf out in the woods there, and
You're fine.
that was one of the last times, late 70s, early 80s, that we had timber wolves up in upstate New York. And it was kind of around that time when wolf populations nationwide started, falling apart because too many of them were killed by farmers and ranchers.
Yep.
And so what happened is the coyote, there was a void in the
Okay.
predators, and the canine predator that took over was the coyote, and they're terrible for the environment.
Right.
And now they're just out of control. But yeah, when I was a kid, that wasn't the case. They didn't have coyotes in every state. They were localized to, the plains areas
Yep.
in the west.
Yeah, we see them pretty often in Georgia.
People, oh, there's some right there. You see that? There's something right there.
Yeah, I saw it. Ooh. Not sure what it is.
That wasn't. That thing was walking. It wasn't hopping.
Huh.
That was like something you don't see out here normally. Because that wasn't a rabbit or anything. I think it was a bobcat. Yeah, he walked right into there and he disappeared. Cool. We're out here early, guys. Nobody's been out here yet.
Guess not.
Yeah, keep your eyes open. If you see anything, let me know right away. It's gonna drive you nuts what that was. Didn't get good enough glimpse of it. And he wasn't running, he just kind of walked. Yeah. Did you see him?
I saw something move,
I saw something move,
but I
I
couldn't
don't
tell
know
what it was. Very cool.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see some stuff here this morning when it starts getting warm. Yeah, we have like foxes out here. There's 3 types of foxes.
Huh.
There's we have coatimundis. A coati is like it's a ring-tailed cat,
Yep.
and they find them from Mexico down into South America, but we have them in the lower Southwest.
Is that something sharp?
No, it's just like a bird from right up here.
We've got, we see jacarandis up here. Jacarandi is a Mexican, it's a rare Mexican cat.
Huh.
And they're a dark brown, almost look black. They're like the size of a large house cat. It's a wild cat. And so we have those up here as well. disheveled and unhappy. They dig in the garden and, you know,
I think if I
knock
was a
over
descendant
trash
of a
cans.
pig, I think I would be animals as well.
They look just like pigs, and they're not even related to them. It's really weird.
Really?
The common myth in Arizona is that they're rats. They're not rats. They're not like a tapir or something like that. Their ancient relative is the hippo.
Really?
Yeah, the hippopotamus is their relative in the past, and they're related to peccaries. You're gonna see a lot of this out here all over Sedona. Actually, this is from ATVs. So the ATVs during COVID ran roughshod all over Sedona as rangers were at home,
Okay.
and it was a free for all out in the woods. And so a lot of people from Phoenix had nothing better to do but come up here and go camping, and then drive ATVs around, and they crash in the woods. So they were riding ATVs all over the place out here, and it's very against the rules. It's a $5,000 fine. But, you know, you get a few people that really feel else, right? So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to sneak up on something else right now. I'm really pissed I didn't see what that was. Yeah, in the summer we don't see as many animals. So whenever we do the morning or the sunset tour, we look really hard because that is the only times we really see it. I was hoping to see a bobcat out here this morning. It'll be a little bit till we get to the really rough stuff.
Okay.
All right.
You guys will know when we get there. You'll see it. You'll be like, oh shit.
Going down that.
Yeah. And they call it cliffhanger for a reason.
I can't
Put it
wait.
up, like, you know, on some pretty steep drops. And there's one section called Cracked Axle. You just can't do it. We only do it in the numbers.
So how long have you been driving tourists?
For over a year.
A year?
Yeah. Since last spring. Not this past spring, but this spring.
Yeah, yeah.
That's our busy season every year. We have a number of busy seasons. That's probably the busiest of all the busy seasons.
And so do you have your like own off-road rig that you...
Yeah, I'm an Isuzu Trooper. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have like a 98 Isuzu Trooper. And they go everywhere. They do hate the freeway. So you go over 80, you start getting the shakes.
The wobbles.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't like the freeway, but they kick ass on trails. They really are a good vehicle. A lot of people have them in town. Yeah, they got a hydraulic 4x in it. They're really nice. rock. That's all the salt down here.
Okay, the volcanic.
Yeah. So kind of what happened was you had all the lava kind of bust through the red rock, which was here a lot longer. About in this area about 15 million years ago. And so right here you can kind of see where the lava laid on top of the red rock from the lava flows. And we're going to see it all throughout here. But yeah, it looks like a moonscape, right? Yeah.
That's very cool. There's some rocks back there that looked like they were cast concrete, but I think it was also basalt.
Maybe. There is, the red rock has limestone layers in it. And you will see, in these contact areas from the heat, you'll see a lot of chert. And so the chert is, chert's kind of related to flint. And so it's a very, imperfect type of quartz. And it doesn't break, it doesn't break like normal quartz or anything.
Okay.
Flint is more of the dark stuff, and chert is the light stuff. So that's kind of how they classify it. But it's basically the same rock. So we'll see some of that out here. And then you do see limestone, white limestone out here. Because Sedona was under the ocean, 7, 8 different times. So every time it went into the ocean,
Seashell deposits.
it collected organisms in Preston County and calcium. You get limestone from that calcium. Yeah, we don't really have granite or anything like that out here whatsoever. Jerome does on that mountain out there. So that's where Jerome, the mining town, is. And Jerome, that was a really rich copper mine. They built 80 miles of tunnels in it.
Wow.
And it was copper, gold, and silver. And it was a really tragic mining town. They were burning mercury out in the open air.
Oh boy.
And so there was mercury smoke everywhere. They said all the miners were nuts there. And so there was a lot of murder and mayhem and mine collapses and fires.
Oh, yeah.
And sinkholes would open up and swallow whole houses. Everybody in the homes would die. Terrible place. And now they say it's the most haunted town in America. And so you go there, the ghost shows go there quite a bit. So that's what Jerome is known for these days. And Maynard from Tool, his wine tasting room is up there.
All right.
And he owns another bigger complex that they just built out there near Old Town Cottonwood.
Like Tool the band?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My ex-girlfriend used to work for him and fought him his jiu-jitsu team. He's a pretty cool guy. He's pretty down to earth. He'd think differently if he saw a Tool show,
Yeah.
But no, he's a pretty down to earth businessman. He's a pretty nice guy.
I was looking at getting tickets to the Tool concert because they're coming to Atlanta, but they're so expensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I guess because they don't tour very often anymore.
Yeah, they don't tour often. And they're one of, these days, they're one of the biggest acts out there.
Yeah.
That travel around. Yeah, that cracked me up when he had his big mohawk. Right?
Yep.
Because I come from that same crowd out in California. So he was out there in the mid to late 80s. And then, of course, I grew up out there and stuff. Yeah, he was an old punker guy like I was. And what's cool is in Jerome, they have the Pussifer store. So he has his store called Pussifer after his little side band.
Okay.
One of the Sepultura guys had some band that they played up there just recently. They came here. Hussiter played, and then I'm not sure what little band he had, but it was one of the guys from Sepultura. We played a couple months ago up there. Mesquite trees.
Oh, mesquite.
Yeah. That's where you get your barbecue stuff from, these trees. It's really hardwood, burns really hot. It's got beans on it.
Yeah.
Because that's what that stuff is. Then you got your painted pine trees out here. You get pine nuts from those pine cones.
Huh.
Juniper trees. This is really the main tree out here. You'll see them everywhere with that furry bark on
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of them have their berries on them. Juniper berries make gin. That's where they get gin from. So it's kind of funny when the kids, when I got kids in the Jeep and when the berries are ripe, I'd be like, hey kids, want to try these berries? They taste them. And they're like, oh, it tastes like a pine needle. I love that. They're all disappointed.
That's funny.
Alright, so we're coming up to these crazy areas. This is that church stuff. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Some of it's really colorful, actually. You'll see like turquoises in it, kind of greens. Some of it gets pretty colorful. That's a church.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll take a break down the way.
Oh, that torque.
Yeah.
So all these, you can see them all. That's all volcanic rock.
Wow.
A lot of this was lava flows on top of the red stuff. We'll see the main volcanoes back over there.
Okay.
House Mountain's back there, which is a pretty big volcano. This isn't even the rough part I'm talking about.
All right.
There's a couple ledges we're gonna have to go up that the Hummers can do quite easily. The Jeep is like, okay, we gotta approach this right way.
It's kind of interesting how, like, if you're on a mountain bike, you can go right over most of this. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jeep is just crazy.
Yeah. The Hummer goes right over it too. But we still gotta take it slow.
Yeah.
allowing us to do this on the Jeep. There was another trail called Diamondback Gulch, and that's been our roughest trail. This is even rougher than Diamondback Gulch.
Oh.
Technical. And so they only allow a few drivers here, so I don't even know why they allow me to do it.
He's allowed to.
Well, you're on a hot streak. It's been a week since you flipped.
Yeah, so, you know, cross your fingers.
Good to see you, little
Alright, so this is one slot right here.
Oh boy.
Good old climbing.
Yeah, this is really scary.
Oh yeah, we got over that.
This is the one that scares me.
I know you're scared too.
Yeah, this one's. You tip a Jeep over easy right there. Wow, look at that. Smooth. I've never taken this Jeep out either. So yeah, they just did that no problem. Good deal. Yeah, you can see why we go slow on this. 'Cause
Oh,
I can
yeah.
just
Go right
right
over.
over. Yeah.
Keep rolling.
Yeah. That wouldn't be fun. And then this thing. That is Dry Creek down there. See that? See the Dry Creek tributary?
Yeah.
In Arizona, flash flooding here is dangerous because this ground is so hard.
It doesn't absorb any water.
Not really, and by the time it does soak in, there's too much water to soak in it. So it soaks in so slow, it just keeps running off.
Yep.
Then it gets saturated and it gets worse, right?
Yep.
Look at that view, guys. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it gets really bad. And so we have a stupid motorist spot here. If you drive in a flash flood and they have to save you, you're paying for the whole thing. But this Dry Creek, it runs bank to bank during flash flooding.
Wow.
And all these Dry Creek tributaries run into it for miles.
So it's just roaring.
Oh God, you see the hillside right there?
Yeah.
It cuts right into that every time it runs.
Wow.
So it runs bank to bank, and it could be just a raging river with rapids and everything. Sometimes people will take rafts down it like nutcases, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it starts all the way back where Thunder Mountain is. Thunder Mountain's the mountain that's right behind the office there.
That's where we rode bikes the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you go by the Devil's Ridge Trail and stuff?
We went Thunder Mountain, Teacup, Grand Central, Jordan.
Oh, you were over where Soldiers Pass is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we rode Soldiers Pass as well.
Did you go to the cave?
No, we
There's a
did.
cave back there.
We passed some people and they're like, "Are you going to the cave?" We're like, "What cave?"
Yeah, the Arches Cave. If you're at, let's say you're at Soldiers Pass and you go straight back, okay? If you go back about a mile straight on that trail, and all of a sudden you look over to your right, you'll see this slot cave.
Oh.
And there's a window in it. It's really super cool. I live in Uptown. So I used to regularly go up Brins Mesa, and then you can walk over to where that cave, the top of the cave is, and drop in it.
Wow.
So yeah, the Arches Cave is pretty cool. If you guys were on the other side of Thunder Mountain, you would have been on the road that takes you to Devil's Bridge,
Okay.
Secret Canyon out there. It's really pretty out there.
Oh.
But you want to do it early because you got full sun exposure.
Yep.
There's like no shade whatsoever. You know. These are Ocotillo cactus.
Are those really tall ones?
Yeah, these things right
Yeah.
here. And so when they bloom, they come out with all their leaves, and then the orange flowers pop out, and then they'll, as they, the summer goes on, they'll start losing their leaves, and the leaves will dry out. And they don't look like cactus, but they are classified as a cactus.
Very cool.
They
I
kind of
was
look like
wondering what
pipe
those
cleaners.
were. Yeah.
Right?
Pipe cleaner
Yeah, they
cannons.
look like giant pipe cleaners.
Alright.
We're going to be on an angle here. Oh, this Jeep is killing this trail for me. I didn't even want to take this one out. I guess they did some work on it. So it's feeling pretty good today. Yeah, on the Borrego Desert, these guys, you'll see east of San Diego, you'll see groves of these that are miles big, square miles big. It's pretty amazing. All right, so this is where we're gonna chill out here and take a break. I'll show you what the cracked axle looks like. This is one of ours. This is for the Hummer.
Okay.
So yeah, this is to, we leave stuff out on the trails sometimes. Actually did really well, I have to say.
So, how reliable are these older Jeeps? Because I've heard that
Pretty good.
The newer Jeeps are pretty bad, like Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge Ram.
Really bad. I keep hearing really bad. These are amazing as long as you have people to fix them,
Okay.
right? And so the other, you don't have all the electronics.
True.
So in these, like in the TPs from the 90s, oh, I love those Jeeps. They're fantastic. They're just stripped down, and they're awesome vehicles. That's what I wanted to take out today. This is really from the early 2000s.
Right.
But yeah, they're great vehicles, these older Jeeps, as long as you can work on them, right?
Yeah.
And they're easy to work on.
Because there's no electronics.
Yeah, there's not many electronics, but when you go on YouTube, there's plenty of shit on YouTube that shows you how to fix these.
Yeah.
And so there should never be an issue that you can't figure it out or anything else. Parts could be tough sometimes, but you can still get parts for it, So that's really the main concern, is to get parts for Jeeps. Because the supply chain's just broken. It's broken for me, on auto parts right now.
Oh, yeah.
And, Hummer parts are terrible for us. See that? We tipped over pretty good right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good. I could feel the Jeep. It's at its limit right about there. So that's what's kind of scary about this trail on the Jeep.
So, how'd you learn so much about the geology and plant life?
The geology I was always into because I hunted gold.
Oh.
And so you have to have a basic understanding of geology if you're looking for gold.
Right.
And so I was studying that out in California before I came out here, and then when I came out here, I got to apply it over in Prescott because I lived there for a year. And I used to go gem hunting in California. So East San Diego County is tourmaline belt. So I used to go out there and chip tourmaline right out of the rock.
Wow.
But yeah, I've been a lot of really nice tourmalines from out there still. And then you go to Payson here. Payson's west is east of here.
Okay.
And it's another mountain region. You go out there, and there's so much rock hounding out there. It's unbelievable. There's an area to pick trilobites. There's areas to pick different agates. There's one area called Crystal Hill, and there's crystal diamonds out there.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I was a big rock hound, and so I had to know geology, and I used to go pick geodes on the Arizona-California border. That was even before I moved out here. And now I'm older, I've kind of done all that, so I just don't do it too much anymore. But yeah, that's how I knew geology. And then the plant life, I'm out here all the time and I know the plants, but the plant life is the thing I had to study.
Yeah.
The animals I know about because it's just, animals pretty
cool.
Pretty interesting, yeah. Plus, if you're going out in the wilderness out here, you better know how to deal with predators.
Yeah.
So you have to study that stuff, Like we have black bears. You have to fight a black bear that comes after.
Oh yeah. Because they're fast.
Yeah.
They'll get you.
Well, one ate somebody in Preston last year.
Really?
It hasn't happened in 50 years. We have not had a bear attack in Arizona for a long time.
Wow.
And one has not killed somebody in over 50 years. And so right where I used to gold pan, that's where the guy got grabbed. Yeah. And they grabbed him. He's an older gentleman. He was building his cabin out there.
Oh, man.
And I know exactly where he was. And when I used to pan out there was loads of bear tracks and cougar tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Really wild out there. And so an older bear walked up to him, grabbed him out of his chair.
Wow.
And dragged him 100 yards and started consuming him.
Wow.
Neighbors came out and shot him dead. But that area, I just know from experience, is loaded with black bear. There's dens and everything over there. So yeah, that was pretty sad. But yeah, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often. It hadn't happened in over 50 years in Arizona. But yeah, black bears you fight, cougars you face, you never turn your back on a mountain lion or perceive them as prey running away.
Right.
Just like tigers. Tigers are very instinctual like that, Once you turn your back, they're right on you. Of course, it's a much dangerous cat. But yeah, some cats are very about instinct like that. Cougars definitely like that. And they always try to go right through your neck.
Yep.
So a lot of times in California, it's the backpacks people are wearing that save them.
Huh. Does it grab the backpacks? Or...
Yeah, so they have their backpack up here, and then, for whatever reason, the cougar can't kind of get in there.
Oh, like a hiking backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because those have that, head pouch sort of thing.
Yeah. And so a lot of times, people will be jogging, riding a bicycle, and they'll attack them from behind and ambush them like prey. And of course, the people are quite surprised.
Of course. I mean,
they never even knew it was there,
I don't think you would.
Yeah, once it gets the element of surprise and grabs your neck, you're done for.
Yeah.
They have such strong jaws. But yeah, if you can get your hands around one's neck or get its legs and spread its legs, you can kill one.
Yeah.
Why spread its legs?
Because his claws.
In fact,
get him away from you.
my uncle's father was back in when I was back in New York, I had relatives that lived in Pennsylvania, and funny enough, before I ever knew in my life I'd be living in Arizona, my uncle that married into the family was a Pima Indian.
Really?
From southern Arizona, and his father killed a mountain lion with his bare hands.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So yeah, his father was a Pima Indian, and his dad was known as being a cougar killer.
That's
His
pretty
whole
awesome.
life after that. Yeah, that's how he earned his creds, right? Pretty cool. Yeah, the plant life I had to study a bit. Because that stuff I didn't really know too much about. But the history, I don't understand all that. I'm starting to learn more about the pre-Columbian history, and that stuff's cool.
Oh, yeah?
Because archaeologists don't know anything about pre-Columbian history. They just don't.
Yeah, because there's not a lot left.
Yeah, the Indians didn't do written history. It's all oral. So if you're an archaeologist, right, wouldn't you want to understand the oral history of the native tribes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out that archaeology didn't care. So now you got a new crop of archaeologists, right? Guys like you that graduate from college that are willing to look at stuff like this. Maybe you get the old crowd that dies off, right? And then you start getting some truths that they weren't willing to look at. This is normal. This is generational. Right?
Yeah.
And with pre-Columbian history, they've been wrong about so much. It's unbelievable. I'll give you 2 examples. So, when I first moved here, I kept hearing how the Sinagwan Indians that lived here in the cliffs, the cliff dwellers, right? We're going to see a little granary on the way out of here today. I'll show you. But we were told that they were here from 800 AD to 1450 AD. And then they disappeared out of nowhere. Nobody knows where they went. As if a black hole opened up and just they walked into it, right? Turns out that there were Hopi all along. So the Hopi for decades are up at the Grand Canyon raising their hand. Hello.
Yeah.
We're the Sinagwans. That's our homeland, the Verde Valley, right? And finally, archaeologists had to go look at textiles and pottery and compare them from the Hopi to the Sinagwans, and they realized, oh my God, they may have been the Hopi. The Hopi are like, no, we were the Sinagwans, not maybe.
These people who live the experience, maybe they actually know what's going on.
Exactly, right? And so when it comes to things that are not written down, right, like facts, they want facts.
Yeah.
So forget the Bible, forget mythology, right? That's how they couldn't figure out the flood myths.
Yeah.
Were universal, even though it was in every mythology, right?
Yep.
And now they have the geological evidence to say, okay, there was a worldwide flood. It was probably the ice caps. No, facts. So it's the same thing with pre-Columbian history. So that is one example, is the Sinagwans were the Hopi. And it took forever for them to figure that out. When the Hopi were trying to tell people forever, we were them, you know? So the Hopi still see Sedona as sacred to this day. And one of their elders comes down to the Grand Canyon vortex almost every day. He prays to the vortex and goes back. And they actually believe, you know, we have this vortex energy here. It's because the ley lines of the planet cross here, like they do in Stonehenge, Chichen Itza, Giza.
You said the ley lines?
Yeah, ley lines. What are those? They're bands of energy that go across the earth.
Okay.
And it's created because you got this molten iron core spinning. So it creates the Van Allen belt, but it also creates this grid-like network called ley lines, L-E-Y. And Stonehenge is actually a map of 16 ley lines across there. So ancient cultures knew about this. Our modern science doesn't quite get it yet. But they call it geomancy, right? So it's kind of like the earth energy type of thing.
Well, if they think it's like that, it's probably not all scientific, right? It's probably something more about feelings or...
No, it's scientific. They can measure it. You know, so they have measured it. There is a subtle electromagnetic energy that comes out of the ground. But it's the problem is they're kind of atmospheric. At certain times they're stronger, other times they're weaker, right? And it's something we don't quite understand yet, but ancient cultures knew about it because they were building all their ruins on them.
Yeah.
And the Hopi believed that our vortexes, right, they have this petroglyph here, this swirl. So that means 2 things. So they're talking about electromagnetic energy, you know, that swirling energy. But they're also talking about interdimensional portals. They believe this about Sedona. And the Hopi say that Sedona is the center of the planet, the center of the earth. This is the navel of the earth, the belly button. So they see it as very sacred. But Stonehenge is literally 16 different ley lines crossed there. And as they go and extend across the earth, they cross at places like the Great Pyramid in Egypt, north at the ruins in Ireland, you know, and all these places. So that's what they say causes the electromagnetic energy.
I'd be interested to read more about that.
books on it and stuff. You can actually pull it up on YouTube. And you spell ley lines, L-E-Y.
Right.
And a lot of times when you're pulling it up on YouTube, they're equating it with UFOs. Because places where ley lines cross, like Sedona, have very high UFO activity, and we have the most per capita in the world.
Wow.
Here. So it's a very active place. And if you look up the Bradshaw Ranch in Sedona, you will see all this crazy stuff about the Bradshaw Ranch. And the UFO shows do come to Sedona quite often now. And the Bradshaw Ranch is really the epicenter of it. The company that owns this, the people that own this company are the Bradshaw family.
Really?
So it was their father's ranch way out in the Western Canyons over there, where all this crazy activity happened in the 90s. It continues to this day. And there's all sorts of stories about military activity out there. A secret underground base under Secret Mountain, which is out there. So yeah, very bizarre stuff goes on in Sedona. And they, you know, everything is really attributed to the vortex energy here. And that's where it kind of comes from. So if you look up Bradshaw Ranch Sedona on YouTube, you'll come up with all these videos of crazy stuff. It was on a show called Skinwalker Ranch last year. Skinwalker Ranch is on the History Channel. It's about a crazy place up in northern Utah. Funny thing is, we're directly south
under?
of it. Yeah, directly south of it. So the ley lines go through there, down south, through Sedona, all the way down into Mexico City where the pyramids are down there.
Really?
Yeah, it's really crazy. So there's this whole grid. And so that's what they say causes the energy in Sedona. Plus you got all this iron in the ground, this Western dirt.
Right.
Right? And so we have some of the biggest iron deposits in all the world that we're driving on. You just can't mine it. It's kind of unmineable.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is supposed to be one of the larger iron deposits worldwide. It's just the general area. But yeah, the Hopi are just one example. The Anastasia are the other example, and it's an egregious error that pre-Columbian archaeologists made, and I'll kind of tell you. I gotta pick that up, guys. Okay, so the Anastasia, okay. I had always learned, and I have books about it, right, from decades ago, how the Anastasia were the ancient ones, the wise old elders. And they were the ones that built all the cliff dwellings where the Navajo reservation is, right?
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be the earliest peoples out there, you know? This is so far from what the truth is, it's unbelievable. It turns out that the Navajo elders have been going on YouTube over the past number of years and telling people who the Anastasia really were, to the point where now it's being accepted as true. And what the Navajo said is, you guys are it's very disrespectful to the Navajo what you're saying about the Anastasia. They were an evil people that ate people.
Really?
They sacrificed people. They were in the area for 300 years. They did not make all the cliff dwellings. The way the Navajo put it, the Pueblo were there first.
Right.
So the Pueblo were the earliest tribe that they know of in the area. And then the cliff dwellers. Then the Navajo came in and lived in the cliffs with the cliff dwellers initially.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Anasazi came later.
Okay. So they were not...
No, they were not the wise ancient elders. They were temporary. They were there for maybe 300 years. And the way they did things was very much like the Mexican cultures. Sacrifice,
Right.
slavery, right? They enslaved the Pueblo to build their ruins. So Mesa Verde, you know, and Wapaki are ruins that the Navajo will not go in. They see them as evil.
Right.
So a lot of archaeologists got very upset. They were like, you can't talk about Native Americans like that. it's disrespectful to call them cannibals.
Or maybe it's true.
That's what the Navajo said. Well, too bad. You're worshiping evil people and you're telling people shit that's not even true. So they were very offended by it. So you had archaeologists going back into Mesa Verde and relooking it, and they came to the conclusion that the
Anasazi were cannibals and sacrificing people.
Yeah, they found petrified poop with human DNA in it.
Yeah.
There you go. And the Navajo were the ones that led the charge on that. Because you get all these people coming to their reservation talking about the Anasazi for years. And the Navajo have been telling people for years on the down low they were an evil people. We don't go in their ruins, you know. And so finally they're coming to grips with the fact that they were wrong that whole time, you know. But if they had just listened to the Navajo in the first place,
Maybe the people who actually lived through it.
yeah.
Descendants who lived through it.
Yeah. So yeah, they the mound builders they don't know anything about.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have a lot of reports of giant bones being found all over the West, all over the Midwest, way back in the 1800s. All that stuff had disappeared. And so yeah, they come up with the wrong history and then they bury the real stuff because it doesn't fit their narrative. You know. And so that's, we're kind of seeing a rewriting of pre-colonial history these days, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they were here for 300 years. Navajo put it is that when they kind of were included that culture, and what the Navajo say is when the last leader was alive, and they kind of were imploding, they captured him, turned him into an arrow, and shot him as far south as they could. So in other words, they either drove them out back to Mexico, or they just killed them all. And the Navajo elder says there are no descendants of the Anasazi, implying they're all dead.
Wow.
So they murdered them all because the Navajo hated them so much. But as long as they lived there, they did trade with them. They kind of kept them at arm's length, but they did trade with them and kept an eye on them. And they tried to protect the Pueblo. The Pueblo were always friends of the Navajo. They were a peaceful people. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff.
Bumpy.
I hate the walking back and forth. It happens. The old TPs don't do that. They have a different shock system.
Huh.
They have a shock system that goes back forward. And so it keeps this from happening on the sides. I wish I knew what that animal was.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Right?
But now we'll never know.
Yeah, I don't know. Could have been a little
Oh, there's
pig.
some more bones there.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just saw
And that's
that.
not the same set that we
No,
saw.
it's up here. This is it here.
Yeah, so maybe it's the other half down there.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
it's pretty sure it's coyote,
Yeah.
because that's what they do. But yeah,
Stripped down.
literally we were here yesterday, and I would have heard about this, and it looks like there's still meat on the fucking bone.
Yeah, and like the vertebrae back there.
Yeah, this is recent, dude. You can see how they clean the ribs off.
And they're clean.
They like them ribs too.
Oh, looks like
JD's barbecue. That's a great. I'll have to tell them when I get back.
that's cool.
Yeah, it looks recent. Looks like they just tore that thing up. That's coyotes, I think now.
Yep.
There's spots we go where it's near dens of theirs. Dude, it's like a boneyard.
Wow.
It is the craziest shit you've ever seen. And they're everywhere, spread out everywhere.
Can't wait for cliffhanger.
So we're going to be heading out of here. We're going to take the freeway back up the road.
All right.
And I'll point to the granary. So what the Snoglins would do is they would, forage in different areas. But, you might have to walk a couple miles to go forage. Foraging is seasonal, and you probably have to have a place to store things.
Uh-huh.
So they would brick off little cavey areas, or maybe a little outcrop, rocky outcrop where there's a nice, nice cavity or something.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna see over here. I'll point to it as we drive by.
Okay. So about how many tours do you guys run per day?
Right now we can do up to 5 a day,
Okay.
and it's hellish in the heat. So they try not to work us like that. So pretty much like we do 4 max.
Okay.
If somebody's got it in them, do the 5th one they can. But I can wake up and have no tours in a day. I can wake up and have 5.
Yeah.
It just depends. It will slow down this coming month.
Because of the heat.
August is a
month?
slow month
Okay.
because you're in between everything.
Right.
And so you're in between Labor Day, right?
Yeah.
And this is around the last time that families are kind of traveling until Labor Day.
School will start at the beginning.
Yeah, and so we're getting a lot of the families coming and the kids coming in that are going to be going to college like you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And it'll die for the next month, so I'll get plenty of off time
All right.
coming up. And then we'll get busy all again in September. October and November are really busy here. Then it dies for a few weeks in December, and then all of a sudden it's busy again for Christmas. Yeah, it's busy most of the year here. So you have a couple months that drop off. January's 1 to August is 1.
Okay. So what do you think the best time of year to come up here is? Like November to February?
Yeah, the best time to really come is mid-April to the end of May. It's fantastic.
Oh.
It's after the spring break period. We get 6 weeks of spring break because every place in the country has a different spring break.
Yeah.
So we end up getting all these waves of spring breakers. We're doing 5 tours a day every day we work.
Wow.
So we're busier than shit. And a lot of drivers just work spring break.
Huh.
And so we make thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Easy during spring break.
That's good.
Yeah, so we are very busy. But yeah, it's after that, you have the spring bloom come in, and we still get a little bit of rain, and it's still only in the 70s and 80s at the highest.
Okay.
So the weather's fantastic. All of May, the beginning of the second half of April, the best time. February can be okay, but we can get some cold weather and snowstorm.
Right?
So it's really unpredictable. But before spring break, we really good too because there's a lot of stuff going on in Arizona.
Yeah.
Phoenix is a lot cooler and it's conference time. You have there's a big golf tournament, a race. There's Aaron Jackson
Oh, it's alright.
Distracted. It's all your fault.
But, alright.
We're gonna take the freeway down here. Yeah, we go up the road pretty slow. It's pretty steep. See, that's a volcanic vent right there. You see them all across Arizona too. You see them way in the deeper deserts. Whenever you see that and it's dark rock, it's usually a volcano.
Huh.
So you'll see old volcanoes all over Arizona.